Hello, this is Fiendish with DimensionTouring.com, and welcome to this video series for the add-on Tinker Tools. This series applies to versions 1.2.8 and higher. If you use Tinker Tools and are curious about what version you have, in the upper left-hand corner, it will tell you. I am currently running 1.3.1. So I'm not going to cover installing. I've written guides on that. The links to both Curse and GitHub, which is both locations where you can find the add-on, are posted below. So please help yourself to those sites. I am not the add-on creator. That is a gentleman on Broodrock by the name of Links 3D. It's his forum tag. So if you have a lot of questions, please feel free to PM him directly. Or if you have questions, you can also ask me. I'm happy to answer while I can. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this brief introduction of what Tinker Tools actually entails. So once you have it installed, you'll see this wrench here on your character screen. Once you push that, that will bring up the main UI. And you'll see a lot of buttons here, and don't be alarmed by all these buttons, because you don't have to have them all up at the same time to do any one thing. Once you start having multiple windows open, you will see though that your view space on your screen tends to get kind of limited. So we'll start off with move. Move will have its own section because you've got absolute movements, relative movements, local axes, and what do each of those things do? I mean, move is pretty self-explanatory. It's how you move an item, but there's a whole lot more into it than that we'll get into. Scale. Scale is what size something is. These stairs that I'm standing on, they tend to scale at a different rate than these building blocks here. So it's important that, that you understand that when you start actually building. One common misconception I do want to address: Tinker Tools will not build for you. It will not build your dimension for you. It will make it a lot easier. It will add a lot of precision, but it will not do it for you. The closest that it may come would be with the copy and paste function, or with the load and save sets, which we will all get into. As with move, you've got absolute and relative movements, and don't worry, we'll cover what that means. Copy and paste. This is your bread and butter right here when it comes to building dimensions. We will be spending a lot of time here. Custom pivot will have its own video. Now, if you watched the old Tinker Tools videos, nothing changed with the actual custom pivot function. It will still be exactly the same. I just want to do a new clean sweep of new videos, and hopefully make a little bit more sense than I did last time. Tribal magic. I'm not going to spend any time on this. This uses a round tribal table, and is how you can fly in your dimension. If you use the old magic carpet add-on, you would put the carpet down and then use the slider scale to go up or down. And tribal magic works the exact same way if you choose not to use the free camera function. And I'm not covering how to use free camera at all. I'm assuming that you know how to use the basic dimension UI. Reskin. Reskin was introduced when Tinker Tools first came out. 1.2.8 made some changes to how it works. Some things to make it a little bit more user-friendly. So we'll talk about that. The connector tool. The connector tool is brand new. And it's basically a way to copy and paste without having to actually copy and paste. Depending on where you set your block, you can check these boxes in that. When we cover this, you'll see like a cross section of a building block. I tell the add-on where I want it to connect at, and there it goes. Rotate. We will definitely be spending a lot of time, with the rotate function, just because so many people tend to find it intimidating. I try to teach these guides with the least amount of math as possible, so the biggest number that we will ever use is going to be 360 because that's the number of degrees in a circle. So we will spend quite a bit of time with rotate because I know I use it a lot, and if you want straight flush walls, you'll use it a lot too. The offset calculator will actually be the first video of this new series, because if you don't understand an offset or what it is or how to use it or what it does, then you're really gimping yourself later on when you're trying to do something more complex. So we'll go over into offset calculation and what is an axis, and so how to use the offset calculator. You can use it to find center points. You can use it to copy and paste on it to set an offset on an angle. It's a really useful function, and it's underused a lot. Load and save sets. I use a lot of templates myself, so load and save sets is a great function for me. It allows you to say I want to take this arch here and save it to use another time. I can just copy and paste it or save it as a set, and then I can reuse it later. And then with the scale function, I can make it bigger, make it smaller, modify it however I want to where it's useful in any given situation. So load and save sets is also DimensionAddicts.com has save set templates that you are free to download. They're given by the community, just sets of various household things and yard decoration and building parts and occasional entire structures. So we'll get into that later. And Alphabet. Alphabet is the typewriter. It allows us to put text in our dimensions if you don't want to morph your own fonts. So we'll spend just a little bit of time on that one. And another underrated tool, this came out with 1.2.8, the selection tool. The selection tool will allow us to pick up this entire structure right here that's about 900 items. Will allow us to pick it up all in one pass and move it to a new location. Of course, it'll be saved as a set at that point, but we'll cover all of that over the course of these videos, in addition to much more. If you have any questions, you can find me in game. My name is Baradera at Greybriar. A lot of times I'm on at Greybriar. She's my builder. So until next time, when we start talking about the offset calculator, happy building.